So, everybody's talking about Jamie. New musical that's just come out. Saw it the other day, caught the trailer a couple of months ago. Wasn't something I was actively planning to go and watch. I thought if I saw it on, then I might go ahead and watch it. But I'm really glad that I did. So the basic story is Jamie, a teenage boy living in Sheffield, wants to be a drag queen. And that's it. That's your story. But it wasn't so much the story that intrigued me, it was how we got to making this film. So I knew it was a musical, I knew it'd been on the West End and had been quite successful on the West End. I'd seen a couple of the musical numbers on TV just at random times, but I didn't realise it was based on a documentary called Jamie Drag Queen at 16, which was on BBC Three about 10 years ago. So that really interests me because I didn't know of a film that's taken that journey of documentary to stage musical to film. So that intrigued me, and that was one of the main reasons I watched it. So the stage musical and the film are both directed by the same person, Jonathan Buttrell. It's his feature film debut, and on the whole he does a good job. I think he really rounds out the characters, everything looks really good. Some of the musical numbers, you see what he couldn't do on stage, sort of expanding sets, quick editing between black and white and making use of a lot of colour and filmmaking techniques which you wouldn't be able to get on stage. But there are a couple of flaws to it. I think some of the numbers do look like you're watching a recording of the stage show. That may work for some people, it didn't work for me. Just didn't feel like I was watching a film during those numbers. There's also a couple of characters who are sort of pairs of characters and they talk at the same time. I can completely see how this would work on stage, but on film I found it a little bit irritating. I just didn't get why you had to do that on film. So like I said, works on stage, perhaps didn't work on screen. But on the whole, the acting in this film is really good. I think Jonathan Buttrell really gets the most out of his main actor, Max Harwood, who plays Jamie. Some of the dramatic scenes are a little bit ropey, but the comedic scenes he's in and the musical numbers are brilliant. He's really, really good in them. There's also another young actress called Lauren Patel. She was really good in it as well. I really liked that she was able to sing in a Sheffield accent. I think it really added to her character. And I think we're going to hear both of those names again. Whether that's on stage or on screen, I don't know. But I think they're certainly ones to watch. Richard E. Grant's also in this film. I didn't realise this. I love Richard E. Grant. I loved him in With Nail and I and in Loki that's just been on as well. So it was really nice to see him in this film. And he does a really good job. I think really his scene that he does with Max Harwood's Jamie, where they show the story of gay rights from the 80s up until now, is such a poignant and emotional scene. It probably was one of the highlights for me, was seeing that scene. I felt like I learnt a lot just watching that very short scene, and I think it shows the struggle that has happened but is still going on to this day. So I think that was very poignant, and that's the thing about this film, is it hits you hard. Like, I thought I was going into watching a musical where you're going to have singing, dancing, and you do have all those sorts of things, but you also have these scenes where it really hits you hard. There's a number of scenes between Jamie and his dad where it really hits deep. Like, I've had issues with my family in the past, and this really brought back some of those memories. Being a new dad myself, it made me realise I don't want to be anything like Jamie's dad. He really is a prick in this film, and he's played really well by Ralph Ineson as well. So that really surprised me. You're thinking you're going into a musical, you don't expect to be sort of coming out thinking quite deeply about things. So that was a really good plus point for me. And I've seen a number of people say they're not going to watch this film because it's a musical or because of the LGBTQ themes. They think it's a film just about that. And I think that's wrong. I think it's a very accessible film, even if you're not part of that community. I'm not part of that community, but I still found this film really accessible, and I found lots of things to relate to. Even if it's not the family drama side of it, I think you can still relate to celebrating differences and celebrating people being who they want to be. I think that's what this film really shows, and it's something which should be praised. Yes, it's a musical. You've got singing, you've got dancing, you've got bright lights, you've got people having a conversation and then breaking out into fucking song the next minute. Some of it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of cliches in this film, but it doesn't matter. Without having those cliches, you don't get to focus on the issues which are really important that this film is trying to show. But of course, it is a musical, and you can't have a musical without talking about the music. A lot of the music is very, very good. Some of it is quite traditional stage musical sort of vibes, but some of it is incredibly catchy. I had the main song everybody's talking about, Jamie, stuck in my head the whole next day, and so did my partner. I think that really shows you how good a song is. Yes, it's incredibly annoying, we were sick fucking singing it by the end of the day, but I think it really shows how good a song is and how catchy it is, and that really tells you all you need to know about the music in this film. There is a particular highlight of The Wall in My Head, which Jamie sings. It's a solo, and it shows the family drama that goes on, how his parents, split up, and how his dad doesn't want anything to do with him. I've seen a couple of people say that they didn't focus enough on the family drama, and I completely disagree with that. I think if they focus too much on that, then other things have to go, and that's not something that should be done in this film. It's still highlighting the issues. One thing I will say is that Max Harwood really shines as me, the drag persona of Jamie, but there's only really one scene with that in. I'd have liked to have seen more of that. I think that was really where he shines, and I think it was one of the best scenes in the film. So maybe if they'd have put more in, it wouldn't have had the same impact, I don't know, but I think that is something I'd have liked to have seen more of. But overall, I'm going to give this film a 7 out of 10. And I think if you like your musicals, or you just like your British films, I think you'll be quite happy watching this one.